Welcome to the Verdin Verdict Sports Show. I'm your host, Jacob Verdin. I hope y'all are all having a good Friday. You made it to the end of the week. It's the weekend, and it's one of the biggest college football weekends in the entire season, quite frankly. October 12th, we've been talking about it. We've been trying to amp it up, hype it up. Finally here. G, glad you're joining us. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Ready for the weekend.
It's going to be a big one. We got a good little slate of games we'll be predicting. Of course, we'll be previewing Ole Miss and LSU. Then we'll dive into Texas and Oklahoma, Ohio State and Oregon, and Kansas State and Colorado. Got a little bit of juice for y'all today. I ain't going to lie. I've been hitting the books, hitting the stats, trying to get the best notes, get the best intel together for you. To start things off, Kyle Parker is going to miss the remainder of the season. Of course, Brian Kelly announced this yesterday on his radio show. It's a blow. It's a blow, and I'm not trying to make it seem like he's the biggest part of your wide receiver room. Obviously, he's more of a role player, more of maybe a wide receiver 3 type player. But still, you need all the depth you can get, especially with someone like Chris Hilton on the fringe, and quite frankly, especially with how demanding this game will be, especially in the points category. I believe Chris Hilton, C.J. Daniels, kind of going to be questionable. I feel like CJ, his is more toward them being worried that they make this injury worse. He's got a history of ACL and MCL injuries in the knee. It's nothing too serious, but it's just something they're monitoring. The Trey Harris situation, obviously, for Ole Miss. I feel like even if he plays, he's not going to be that healthy either way. So it's one of those 50-50 in the air situations that even if he, let's say he doesn't play, 38% of the snaps or the receptions have gone to him. He's been a primary target. Ole Miss is going to be in hell in a handbasket. If he does play, they're going to probably try to make him do more than he should, and it might be even worse, quite frankly, if you ask me. Jackson Dart, the notes I got on him, a mobility, I feel like that's his biggest X factor he brings to this game. And I'm not trying to undermine any passing ability he has. He's second in yards, so he's obviously getting it done on that side. However, we just talked about Trey Harris. We just talked about uncertainty at wide receiver. I feel like he's going to eventually have to start making, some moves, try to push some plays down the field with his legs. Lastly, Jared Ivey, feel like he could bring some pressure. It's all going to go down to who budges first. The Ole Miss defensive pressure or LSU's offensive line. We've been touting them all year, rightfully so. Emory, Will, you even got some bigger pieces in the middle with Miles and Garrett. And, even DJ, I feel like he's had a pretty good start to his first year as a center. All in all, big test. Both offenses pretty prevalent. Ole Miss's defense, I'm going to give them the nod. G, what's your assessment? How do you feel? What you thinking?
It's going to be electric in Death Valley tomorrow night. That's why they made it. That's why they flexed it to a primetime game. I'm very curious to see how LSU is going to respond to what happened last year in Oxford. Right? It was a shootout. They can't get into a shootout tomorrow night with Ole Miss, just because from the simple fact this defense and LSU's offense. They haven't been playing complimentary football when they've been playing the top tier teams since Brian Kelly has been there. The defense is going to have to make some plays tomorrow night in Death Valley. They got to get that crowd into it. When I think about the keys to the game, right, you got to look at the running game of Ole Miss. Henry Parrish is averaging 6.3 yards a carry, and he has 9 touchdowns in the season. Everybody thinks about Lane Kiffin's offense. They think about him throwing it all over the place. Lane Kiffin wants to run that ball and to set up the pass. And, with the best receiver in the country, like you just alluded to, well, I'm not going to say he's the best receiver in the country. He's leading the country in receiving yards with Trey Harris, who is a Louisiana boot boy. And fun fact, that was Malik Neighbors' quarterback in high school at Como. So for the people that didn't know Trey Harris was from the boot, that was Malik Neighbors' quarterback.
That's wild.
Yeah, it is wild. But with that being said, even if they don't have Trey Harris at full strength, Ole Miss has a lot of weapons that Jackson Dart is going to be able to play with. Jordan Watkins, Antoine Wells, Caden Lee, and like I said, Henry Parrish, the running back. They have a lot of different weapons he can go to. So, Trey Harris being on the field, he might just be on the field as a decoy. But don't think just because Trey Harris is not 100% and he might not play tomorrow, which I think he will, that doesn't mean this Ole Miss offense still ain't going to be able to put up points. It's going to come down to being able to stop the run. You're going to have to make Lane Kiffin one-dimensional tomorrow night. I think Blake Baker's going to have a great plan, but it's going to start off front with them D tackles. I've been talking about it all year long, with those young pups they got playing early. Amaya Bro, Dominic McKinley, Rutherford, Paez, a transfer from Wisconsin. They gonna need those guys to be stout up front. If you can stop the run tomorrow night, and you don't let you don't let Henry Parrish average over 4 yards a carry, I think you see LSU being in good position to win the game. They can't stop the run. It's gonna be a long night, and they're gonna probably have to score 40 to win.
Yep. That's one of the big keys I talked about on Wednesday. I don't think a lot of people are talking about Ole Miss's run game. Like you said, it's always going to the pass. It's always going towards that direction. I think here's a couple of interesting trends. I'm a big trend guy, so I gotta give the numbers to the fans. BK, 18 games in Tiger Stadium. Follow me. 17-1. BK off a bye week, 20-3. Tiger Stadium at night, BK's record, 12-0, baby. I feel like you're in a situation right now where, and I don't want to overhype it, and I don't want to overstep, but this is probably one of your toughest games. Sure, I'll preface this with that. It could be one of your closest, biggest primetime moments, though. You could be in a back-and-forth shootout against, what are they, number 9? Or are they even number 5? Okay, well, they were floating in and out of that 7 to, that around in that top 5 range. My point being, this is the highest ranked team you're probably going to have the best shot against. I think that Alabama game's a lot tougher, especially watching them handle Georgia. Sure, the Vandy mishap, whatever. I don't think they were as motivated. I think Alabama is the best team in the SEC. Maybe Texas is a little better. My point being, though, you got to show out right now if you want a chance at being in a playoff. This is your moment to win. And how many times do fans get to see an underdog LSU at night in Tiger Stadium, in your own home, in Death Valley? I've never seen it. I feel like this is one of those situations where you kind of just got to soak it up. You got to just walk in with the chip on your shoulder, let it motivate you. Like, okay, you're coming in my house in Vegas, and all these little fans, all these people, all these analysts, all these reporters and experts, they're saying that Ole Miss is going to win. They're saying that you got a best shot. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. LSU's been at home for about a month, haven't been traveling, fresh off the bye week, had a great game against South Alabama. Here's my keys. You're going to need, obviously, defensive pressure from Swinson and Jones. That's your. It's like a law firm. Swinson
Don't forget
and
about
Jones.
Deshaun Womack.
Yeah, I agree. Womack, he's a good piece in there as well. And then you got a lot of other flashing pieces. I mean, you've got the McKinleys of the world. You got a lot of pieces you can mix in. Hell, what about Whit Weeks? We can't forget about number 40. But my duo that I really, really, really need to see some production from, and I have been seeing production from, Swinson and Jones. Let's see some flashes to the pocket. Don't let him escape. Containment. Hold him in. Maybe even, hell, knock him off a spot a couple times and let's see what happens. Second key. Here's where things switch up a little bit. I think Nussmeier, he's been very accurate. He's been very consistent, right? I'm going to make a bold take. I'm going to make a hot take. If he shows up Saturday and he performs with the 300 and the 3 touchdowns, I think he's got the nation's attention. I think he's got the NFL's attention. I think you see Garrett Nussmeier's stock soar to the sky. I'm going to allude back to the fact that you're playing your biggest game. Everybody's watching. The biggest weekend in college football in the prime time slot. Garrett Nussmeier, you're number 5 in completions, 7 in yards, 5 in touchdowns. You're right there. You're on the cusp of being one of the best quarterbacks in college football. I'll flat out say it. Perform like you've been performing this season, and you've got the nation's attention. You're going to have the nation's support. You're going to have a little bit of a road to climb if you want to be a first-round quarterback, a Heisman finalist, this, that, the third. But it's possible, and it starts this very weekend. That's my key. Nussmeier, you got to put on this commander, hat, take lead of the ship. Give me an analogy. He's got to do it, and I think he's capable of it. This is going to be one of the biggest weekends for him. I'm going to flat out go into my prediction. Here we go. LSU 31, Ole Miss 24. I think we win. I think we're in one of the best situations. Ole Miss does have the 3.5-point favorite nod, right? I'm not going to get worried by the books. The books have been getting beat all over the place. The books have been getting beaten in NFL. The books are made to be beaten. I'm going to stick to football, I'm just going to stick to my gut, if you will. You've seen a team perform in Ole Miss, kind of spotty. Kentucky, rough game. South Carolina, good performance. Kind of, 4-quarter, not domination because you only won by 3 possessions. But they've shown you an up and down kind of trajectory over the last couple of weeks. I don't think they've shown me anything enough to make me nervous. I like the fact that we're off a bye week. I like the fact that we've got an offense just as equivalent. How you feeling, G? I just kind of said a little bit of a hot take, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling Garrett Nussmeier this weekend. I think he's shown me a lot, and I got the confidence, and I hope he does too.
Well, some of my sources have told me that they're expecting at least 20 NFL teams in the building tomorrow.
Choo, that's the whole
Because
league.
there's going to be a lot of potential draft picks on this field playing between both teams, right? I think the key to Nussmeier tomorrow is being able to handle Pete Golden's blitz. Pete Golden, the DC, another boot boy, by the way, is going to come up with some different strategies to try to confuse Nussmeier. He's going to sugar his coverage. What he sees pre-snap and what he sees at the snap of the ball is going to be totally different. He's going to roll those safeties, move around. He's going to send pressure from different places. If Nussmeier can show that he can handle those type of pressures that Pete is going to send at him tomorrow night, I think you're right. I think that puts Nuss in a conversation with these NFL teams, and you start hearing these swirlings going around that he could be a top two round draft pick. I think you start hearing those rumblings, right? But if Nuss can't show up tomorrow night when he sees those different pressures from Pete Golden, because the type of pressures that Pete Golden is going to send tomorrow, that's what you're going to see in the NFL. So I think Nussmeier has a big opportunity in front of him, okay? I'm pretty sure his dad, who is an NFL offensive coach, is prepping him and has been prepping him all during the bye week, along with Coach Killian. I can't wait to see how it unfolds. Now, that receiver room got to be able to show up, right? Yep. I'm gonna put my dog on the spot, man. Kyron Lacey. You've been talking about you won't be wide receiver one. You say you won't be a first round draft pick. You won't say you was being slept on with all these lists coming out. You got to show up tomorrow night. Trey Amos, another storyline, another boot boy. Ole Miss best corner. You played at UL last year together under Billy Napier. He knows you. You know him. I'm hearing he's supposed to travel a little bit with you tomorrow night. You got to show up tomorrow night too. If you want to be a first-round draft pick with all NFL teams, and you want this team to have an opportunity to play for the 12-team playoff, you got to show up tomorrow night. That's what you got to do. Aaron Anderson, I expect him to keep his hot streak going. He's been leading LSU in receiving the last couple of weeks. I think he's going to be dynamic tomorrow night. Can Caden Durham give us the big plays that we've been seeing since he's been inserted into the lineup, right? Can we see that? On the other side of the ball, Ashton Stamps, if Trey Harris is playing, will you follow him? I don't know what Blake Baker's plan is. Will you follow him? Will you be able to hold Trey Harris under his average? I think he's averaging like 90 yards a game. That's going to be the key. But I'm going to tell you, though, when they lost to Kentucky, I thought one of the key stats into why they lost to Kentucky was Ole Miss was 1 for 10 on third down. 1 for 10. Which tells me they played behind the sticks a lot, which tells me, goes back to what I said earlier in this segment, that they became predictable. So it all goes back to what I was saying, that they're going to have to stop the run. Because when you make Lane Kiffin predictable with a quarterback like Sam Darnold, that's no shot at Sam Darnold. I think he's a good quarterback. But he's better when he's playing with 2nd and 4, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3. When you get him in 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8, when you know he got to pass the ball, I think Sam Darnold is not a top-tier quarterback in the country. And so that's going to be the key tomorrow night, man. They got to be able to stop the run. If you let Henry Parrish come in here and average what he's been averaging on the season at 6.3 yards a carry, I mean, y'all might as well start beating the traffic right now. That's just the bottom damn line. But I think LSU does win this game. I think it's going to be as loud as we've heard it all season. And I think Kyron Lacey, and it's not me being biased, that's just because it's my dog, but I think Kyron Lacey makes a big play or two in this game to put LSU on top, and they win this game 34-28.
Okay, 34-28. So 34-28. You got – I don't think you got the over. What you feeling about the over? Because I don't got the over either. They got the over at – I believe 62.
Yeah, it was outrageous. 64, so it must have went down.
Oh, it could be 64 then. I could be wrong. That's outrageous, I think. I wanted to talk about that one before we wrap this out. I know a lot of people are leaning the over. I think it's too high. I think the defenses might surprise people. People forget Ole Miss's defense. You know how many points they're allowing? 7 points per game, G.
Yeah, but this is gonna be the best offense they faced all year
For sure. And I'm honestly
and
I'm sticking my chest out a little bit about it because I'm feeling it. I'm feeling confident.
yeah. And look, bro. I think a game like this, if you really an elite player, you raise your level of play in a game like this.
Yep.
You just do. If Nussmeier is as good as we think he is, he gonna show up tomorrow night, and he gonna solidify himself as a top 5, top 7 quarterback in the country after tomorrow night. That's what we gonna start saying. I really believe that's what's gonna happen.
100%.
Especially coming off a bye week.
Before we wrap out of here, I'll tell you your best bets. First things first, LSU money line, they're plus. Round plus 140, maybe 135. When can you bet on LSU as an underdog in Tiger Stadium at night? You can't. Take advantage of it. It's going to be a wild ride. Lean under. I don't know how consistent that one will be. Let's move into our top 3 game of the week segment right before. Real quick. You know the drill. Our guys at Happy Dad, they've been supporting us through the college football season. Wanted to give a quick shout out. You know where to get them. Rouse's, Walmart, Albertsons, or you can get the merch in the description. Link in our description. 15% off. Code Verdin15. Remember, no artificial flavors. Low in sugar. Gluten-free. Get it. Supply for your tailgates. Your pre-games.
Gluten-free.
Game time.
No sugar. I love it.
Yeah, we gotta watch our figure, man. We out here. We need to relax, but we gotta look good, feel good, play good, pick good. Because these next 3 games,
obesity is at an all-time high in Louisiana, man.
we gotta watch it. We gotta put the guys on something.
Man, we gotta live for a long time.
All right, G, let's start it off. Let's let everybody know the slate first before we get into this. Texas and Oklahoma, Ohio State and Oregon, Kansas State and Colorado. And I just got to say, I got to tote our stick a little bit. We've been on a streak. Have we been going perfect? No, we opened the season back-to-back weeks, perfect. 6 for 6. We went to a little bit of a lull, 1-3. Then we went 2-3. Last week, 2-3. This week, guess what? We're going to go 3-3. I feel it. I don't know why. I feel it. I think we got an easy slate to pick. Let's start it off. Red River
we gotta
rivalry.
start putting my picks up there, man. I need people to know, man, that I'm Nostradamus Jr., man.
Let's get it. We got this week. Y'all know. If you ain't know, now you know. Straight up. Red River rivalry, 2:30 p.m. Jerry World. Crazy things have happened with SEC teams in Jerry World. This will be the second SEC meetup in Jerry World, if I am not mistaken. They think Texas is going to run away with them. They think Texas is going to absolutely demolish Oklahoma. 14-point spread. Texas is minus 700 on the money line. The total's at 48.5. Here's all I got to say. Quinn Ewers, he's back. It can go one of 2 ways. Everyone's automatically thinking, okay, Quinn Ewers is a great quarterback. He's going to hit the ground running. He's going to boost this offense back. What you're really not thinking of, at least in my opinion, is that Arch Manning was hitting his stride a little bit. Arch Manning and that offense kind of got some consistency and continuity together. Now, for what it's worth, they could translate it right to Quinn Ewers, but Quinn Ewers could also come off and be a little bit rusty and take some time to get back into gear. That has to be known. But he's in a little bit of a good situation. BK loves to say complimentary football, right? Let's kind of use it in this situation. Their defense, second in the country. They're also allowing less than 7 points per game. I think Oklahoma's been in a little bit of an offensive struggle. I'm just not buying Texas minus 14, though. I got a crazy pick, all right? I think Texas wins this game. So Texas is my winner. That's my winner prediction. However, if you're a bettor, if you want a good pick, minus 700 ain't going to cut it. You know what'll cut it? I'm going to make a reach. I'm going to double the spread almost. I'm going to say Oklahoma plus 26. It's minus 340. I think that's your pick for the game. I don't think Texas smushes them by 4 touchdowns. I think it could get to 14. It's a toss-up. It's a coin flip. Let's double it. Let's add some padding for it. G, how you feeling about the first SEC Red River rivalry?
I'm in agreement with you that Texas will win the game. I don't have them winning by that large of a margin. I think, it's a rivalry. You can throw the records out the books. You can throw whatever you want to see out of this because these 2 teams, when they meet up in that Red River shootout, some crazy things have happened. I remember one year, I want to say Oklahoma was up like 28-3, and Texas came back and won the game. So you just this game is so damn unpredictable. You just never know how it's gonna play out.
Never.
I just think that Texas is rolling right now. They're hitting on all cylinders. So I don't have Oklahoma winning the game by no stretch of the imagination. And then they missing their best receiver in Deion Burks, Oklahoma that is. And so I just think that's just going to be too much for them to try to figure out how they're going to get big plays and be able to move the ball down the field consistently on that Texas defense. I got Texas winning this game, man, 38-17.
38-17. That ain't bad. I'm thinking, let me give you a little razzle dazzle. I'll go 31-21. I think they can keep it close. I don't think they're going to score that much. I think it's kind of like what you were saying with athletes raising their level of play in a tough game. In these rivalry moments, these two teams, it don't matter. Oklahoma could be 1-11 and Texas can be undefeated. This is going to be a close game. Similarly to LSU and Alabama, you just bring it. It's hate week, baby. It's hate week. Let's move on to Ohio State and Oregon. College game day is over there this week. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if that's the game I would have picked. I would have personally picked Red River. Well, it's a top 5 matchup, so I guess
that's a big game, no? That's a big game.
It is. -3 spread. Ohio State's favored. -155 on the money line. Totals at 54. The Big Ten pretty much swings in the balance in this one. 6:30 p.m. kickoff in Oregon. My key players for this, let's start off with Ohio State, right? You got an interesting quarterback that you could somehow, some way, maybe look at to produce. I feel like most of Ohio State's yardage comes from the ground. I feel like they're going to be a pretty big run threat in this game. And then by the contrary, for Oregon, I feel like Dylan Gabriel can almost do it all. And I mean, he's not the biggest passer. He's not the biggest quarterback, but he's a pretty big mobile threat. Before the year, a lot of people, including us, honestly, we were talking highly about him, his Heisman odds, his Heisman race. And I think this would be one of the moments he'd have to elevate his game to get to that point. This is his moment, so to speak. This is his prime time spot. And against one of the toughest defenses, I believe Ohio State ranks number 1 in defense. They're allowing around 6 points per game. What's up with it with all these defense? We got Texas. We got Ohio State. Ole Miss throwing clamps all over the place. By the way,
because they ain't played nobody yet.
Yeah, good point. By the way, the Oregon top 10 passing attack. So it's not really your yin and your yang all the way, but I think these are almost two opposite offenses. It'll be interesting to see how they handle each other. Could be in for surprise. I think Ohio State takes it. I'm feeling that's the more put-together program. It's really hard to say, though. Dylan Gabriel could have a heroic moment where he puts on his Superman cape. I'm just going to stay safe. I'm going to pick the Buckeyes for what it's worth.
I just think that Dylan Gabriel has been catfishing us. I think that he's a good quarterback. I think that what Dan Lanning asks him to do, he can get the job done. But I just think he's not the quarterback that gets you to the promised land. And so with that being said, I think Ohio State just too good all the way around the board. This Oregon team doesn't look nowhere near how they looked last year with Bo Nix. Don't let some of the numbers fool you. I've watched Oregon a couple times this year, and they just don't look on point offensively like I'm used to seeing. I think Ohio State is just too good up front. I think Will Rogers and Jeremiah Smith and Jigba and Judkins and Henderson at running back, they just have too much for Oregon. They're going to impose their will. I think they win this game 28-17.
28-17.
Yeah.
I'll go. I'm going to go 25-21. No, 24-21. That's probably more probable. I'll keep it a little close. They got a 3-point spread. I'll follow it. I'll be close. I'll be true. I'll be true to Vegas on that one. Last game, Kansas State, Colorado. A little bit of a big moment here. I believe Kansas State's either 16 or 18 in the AP poll. I think it's 18. Heading into Colorado at 9:15 in the evening. Favored by a hair, 3.5 points. -169 in the money line. Totals at 55.5. Now, that's what I like. Straight up, I'll be honest. Both teams average 31 points per game, and they average giving up around 3 touchdowns on defense. So you're in a little bit of a situation where they're scoring and they're letting scores pile up on them. I think both teams could be in for a little bit of a treat. Is it a shootout? I don't know. I wonder. I think if I'm going to have to pick a winner, I'm going Kansas State. And it's not to discredit Colorado. Great program. They're playing at home. I just wonder about that offensive line. Shedeur can't just keep running for his life over and over and over and having good games. Is he having success? Of course. Travis Hunter you got a puncher's chance anytime you got somebody like that. It's just going to be one of those things. I think Kansas State, they're probably going to slow Colorado down a little bit with their defense. One of the biggest gripes I got with Colorado, too, is that run game. It's abysmal. It's horrible. It's bad. They need to get better. It's early on in the process for what it's worth, but this is their haymaker year because Travis and Shador and maybe even a few other big pieces are going out of here. Kaput. Colorado's got to put up or shut up. I don't know if they do it against Kansas State. I'm going to ride Kansas State, but for your pick, over 55.5. That's what I'm going to take. That's my safest bet because I think this could be a coin flip game.
I'm going with Kansas State 31-27. Just like you say, it's going to be tough for Colorado to be able to stop the run. DJ Giddens, the running back for Kansas State, is averaging over 7 yards a carry. They got a good quarterback in Avery Johnson. He's not the best passer in the world, but he's very, very athletic and very mobile.
Yep.
And he gets out on the perimeter and makes plays with his legs. I just think that Colorado's going to have a hard time stopping that running game and just stopping them from moving the ball on the field. And, you know, they're going to probably eat up the time of possession, which is going to keep Shador Sanders off the field. So they're not going to get as many opportunities to be able to score a whole lot of points. But I think they will score when they do get a chance. And so I got Kansas State winning this game 31-24.
Let me see. I'm going to give them 35. If I give them 35, that means I got to give Colorado 21. There you go. That's 56 on the dot, covered by 1 point. We were sweating, wiping off the forehead. So the parlay, let me recap you real quick if you forgot. Over Colorado, Kansas State, over 55.5. Ohio State, money line, and I did not take a money line on Oklahoma and Texas. I took Oklahoma plus 25.5, an alternate spread. That parlay, plus 305. Add LSU money line on it, and you're at plus 856. Do with that information as you will. I ain't telling you what to do. I ain't telling you how to live your life. I'm just trying to tell you what I think is going to happen this weekend in college football. Could be right, could be horribly wrong. Feel like we've got a pretty good track record, though. I don't know. This could be our week, G.
We shall see. It's going to be rocking in that valley tomorrow. Be there or be square.
Straight up. You know we're going to be covering the game.
Don't expect your phone to work.
Phone's going to be off. Phone's going to be off straight up. I don't even need the phone. Phone's not
the
even
message
on
is
my
going to be
body.
going green tomorrow around 6:30.
Yep. Man, I'm turning it off at 5. I'm done. I need some time to collect myself pregame. I don't want to hear from nobody. Straight up. Well, appreciate everybody for joining the stream. We had some good viewers. We had some good interaction. Live with G every Friday at 3:30. We're going to be keeping our regular time on Mondays and Wednesdays, 1 o'clock. But on Fridays, we'll be doing this preview show, top 3 game segment at 3:30 in the afternoon. Much appreciated, G. Thank you for your time, man. I'm glad that you were able to chop it up.
Definitely all day, bro.
Y'all stay on the lookout this weekend. We'll be doing our regular post-game show, LSU Ole Miss. Hope it's a good one. Y'all have a good weekend. See you Saturday.